All right, so we're back. So, okay, so skill set. So make sure you have your skill set together. So not you want to be a writer, you are a writer. I feel you, Katie. Like that was like a perfect thing to say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have a savings. So I was at the point where I had developed clients. I'm looking at Katie because she's just back in. Okay, I had developed some clients where I was taking time off of work, like professional work that I was doing, and I had one of those jobs where they would pay me on my days off, which was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cute.
Ooh,
So I was literally taking those. You're right, that little corporate chat.
My nonprofit butt don't know nothing about that corporate money.
You're like, you off? Okay, we ain't pay you to work.
You're not working, so you don't get money.
You're not working, so that's a no. Yeah. So I would get paid on some of my days off. So, but what I was doing is I literally was taking vacation days to go work. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I already knew I was on my way out. I was like, okay, if my vacation days,
I see you, boo.
if my vacation days turn into, turn into work days, then we already know what the deal is or what the business is. So, okay. The other thing is saving for, so the first thing is skill set, make sure that's developed. And the second thing is you want to save for 6 months at least. I would say you need to have like 6 months, like, rent saved up, like food, utilities, like everything you need to really survive. Like and put a little bit extra because you're probably going to need to be obviously like paying for things for your business. Like for me, I knew I needed to my kit was where I wanted it to be, but I knew I'd probably want to grab some more products and things like that. You don't want to be in a place where, and I've been in this place before,
I can just imagine that,
where you don't know, literally, like I've totally been in this place before where you don't have any money and you are so sad and you're just like, how am I going to eat?
And then what do you do?
You can't be creative.
But then what do you do?
Yeah.
You go and accumulate debt because you can go buy food on your credit card.
Yeah.
So you can eat. And you're frustrated. And
now you're going past your utilization. You know what I'm saying?
It's all of it. Everything.
Now you're going past that utilization. Now you pass the 10%. Your credit card debt's going up.
Right. Your creativity going down. Your stress up. Like it's...
Literally.
All of it. And it is all a mess because it all happens at the same time. Like if you could tackle one thing at a time, that would be great. But that's not how life works. It all comes at you. It all comes at you at the same time. That's life's wonderful magic. It's like it all happens at once.
Okay, really quick. Let's talk about investments really quick. We're just going to jump back for a second because we had 2 questions that we missed in the last live. If you have a 401k, do you also go and open an account with the Betterment Wealthfront? Is it okay to have just a 401k investing? Oh, actually, let's just answer that one first.
Yeah,
if you have a 401k, do you also go and open an account with Betterment?
So that depends on your percentage. Remember how we talked about the percentage piece? Mm-hmm. Like your 401k sometimes will offer you a match. Mm-hmm. If they offer you a match, you should definitely put in up to whatever percentage you have to get the match because that's free money.
Yeah.
And we talked about how low the interest rate at the bank is, like less than 1%. Mm-hmm. When you get a full match, that's 100% return. That is unheard of, literally unheard of, unless you're investing in Silicon Valley, like unless you're a venture capitalist. Like, so to get 100% return on your investment, you definitely want to do that. So if they match you 5% of your salary and you can afford to put aside 5% of your salary, do it. But if they don't offer you a match at all, just go with the IRA because you have more control over it and you can put up to $5,500 a year in the IRA. And if you have extra money after that, then go ahead and put that in the 401k. But I would definitely say only do the 401k if you get the match. Do up to the match, and then if you have extra, do an IRA. Or if you don't get a match, start with the IRA, and then extra money goes into the 401k. Hopefully that wasn't, sorry if that was like a little bit back and forth, but it kind of depends on what you're offered at your job. That will indicate where you'll start.
Is it okay just to have a 401k investing 10%, or should you be doing more than that?
That is great. That's better than probably the majority of Americans. But if you want to be aggressive, you gotta do more. Like if you want to be aggressive, 10% is just like what you should be doing. So that's kind of like to do the bare minimum to pass. That's what you should be doing. But if you want to be aggressive and you want to do more, then you gotta do more on top of that. Also, if you can afford to do more, if you're spending 90% of your income every single month of your paychecks to live, and then you invest 10%. 10% plus 90% is 100. You don't have extra money to spend at that point. But if you're living off of 80% of your income, investing 10% in your 401k, hey, there's an extra 10% in there. Then you can put that in an IRA. Mm-hmm. So it really depends on your budget.
And that might also just be like you thinking about like what are you spending money on that you don't need to be spending money on? Because we all have stuff that we don't need to be spending money on. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean?
I cut a lot
Exactly.
out.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
and that looks
much.
different for everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody has different spending habits
Right.
and things like that.
Like,
but
Delina has to spend a lot of money on makeup. I mean, she has to. Like, I don't, look at my face. I got, what I got up on here? I got some, like, mascara
Yes, you-
and some chapstick.
her skin is literally
I
so
have-
bomb though.
Stop, y'all,
Like
stop.
so
but
bomb.
but you know what? When I was little, my mom used to make me eat aloe vera. It tastes nasty, but she used to make me eat it. And she was like, "It's good for your skin. It's good for your skin." And now
Hey,
I'm like, "Thank you."
now
Mama.
stop it.
I ate that
Hey.
nasty aloe vera, but you know what? I don't got no
Now
problem.
we're good. Yeah, right. Exactly.
But you know, like, that's a quick example. Like, you have to invest in makeup.
That's true. Those are
wouldn't
tools
put
for
that
my
in
business, though, right? That's a write
And
off.
so that's a quick thing. And like for me, I would not spend money on
Right.
makeup. Like $8 for some mascara at CVS. Like, I'm not spending money on makeup. Maybe I should because my face is but I just don't. I choose not to include that in my budget. But similar. Maybe we can have a similar amount of money we're spending or saving.
Mm-hmm.
But what it's going towards depends on you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Exactly. Okay, cool. So making sure that you have a savings, so what she's talking about right now, and this is in addition to the savings that she's saying, like, right, like you want to, like, maybe you're gonna have to cut down some of the savings that you make, and in all truth and honesty, like, I created a savings account, and that wasn't necessarily just my savings account for like the future. There is gonna be a time when you first transition, where you're gonna kind of have to dip in probably to your savings account. You have to be okay with that because it's like you're basically trying to transition how much money you're making. And I was making over 6 figures when I quit my job, so that was a very interesting thing. Because now thinking back, I should have been able to definitely save
Transition
more.
nicely. Oh,
Yeah,
that was like
I should.
transition
She said
nicely.
transition
True.
real cute.
True.
No, girl, because that was a steep situation. I was like,
Lifestyle real high.
I know. And people are like, why you hustle so hard? I'm like, bro, because I know what it was like when things were nice things. Yeah. I know what it was like when I had money. Thank you. So what percentage in regular savings and what percentage in investment? Okay, so we did cover that earlier. We were talking about you have to decide the percentage of savings and investment. That is like,
you got to start with 10%.
You gotta start with 10%.
And so it depends. If you don't have anything in a savings account, don't even think about investing yet. Put 10% in a savings account.
And Vanguard Index, was that what you said?
Vanguard is great. That's the index fund that I recommend that you start with. If you are choosing an index fund to just put like whatever 10% or 5%, and you want to put it in one index fund, VTSAX is great. It's literally the ticker symbol is VTSAX. It means Vanguard Total Stock Market. It's like all of the stocks in the U.S. in one fund, and you are guaranteed the average performance of the market. And then Vanguard is actually a nonprofit that started, the creator of Vanguard, his name is John Bogle. He created the whole idea of an index fund. Literally, it didn't exist, so he created it. So if you're going to pick an index fund, you might want to go to the creator of it. Like, that's the best place to really choose index funds. So that's why Vanguard is great. But I don't invest directly with Vanguard. I used to, but now that I do robo-advising, Betterment and Wealthfront, they use ETFs, which we talked about in part 1. So, I do ETFs. If I have extra money later when I'm making more money, I would definitely invest with Vanguard on top of what I'm already doing.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically the idea is if you don't have an emergency fund of 6 months rent or expenses total, like food, rent, transportation, everything, that's your first job, is to stack up a savings account with 6 months of rent. That is your security, safety blanket. That's your safety net. Do that. After that same 10% of every check you were putting in there, once it hits 6 months, that's your money to start investing. And if you already have a 401k, then great. This is where you now can open an IRA and start putting money in there. And so that's the idea is it's 10% to start with to your savings, and then switch over once you hit your goal and start putting 10. But if you can afford to put 20%, then put 10% in a savings account and 10% in an investment account. So it just depends on what you can afford. But you can make the numbers whatever you want them to be, as aggressive or as conservative as you want, but you got to understand that's coming out of your paycheck.
Right. So. That's real. Okay, and so I think the last thing I really want to touch on with entrepreneurship and just making sure that you're prepared, I think you want to talk about clients and how you're going to get your clients. That's a very, very important thing. So there's this idea within sales, and I actually worked in sales. So what you want to do is you always want to have a funnel. So there's a funnel that, she said, thank you. Totally get it now. Good job. So there's the idea of this funnel. So basically what's happening is you always want to have things kind of coming into this funnel. So what that means is you need to constantly be having meetings and meeting new people. So like, let's say that you meet one client, right? Like, let's say it's a personal client or it can be a production company. So for me as a makeup artist, I can work with production companies or I can work with personal clients. It just depends on, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It just depends.
Right, like I can work with schools, or I can work with individual people that need advice. Right?
Exactly. So it's kind of like, it just depends exactly how that goes. Now, I know production companies typically have things going on pretty regularly. So once I get introduced to a production company, I want to make sure that, number one, you always show up at 100%, right? Like, you always want to be, like, you always want to make sure that you look really put together, and you always want to, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be coming places looking crazy, right? Like, and that doesn't necessarily mean I need to have a full face of makeup on, but I do need to look professional, and I need to speak professionally to everybody that comes on set.
Right.
Right?
That's a given.
Right.
That is a given.
Because what's happening is, it's basically like, imagine every time you come to a job, it's your first day again. That's basically my job every time. Right? So it's like your first day. How do you walk in? Like, how do you meet people? Are they excited to meet you? That kind of thing. Those types of things give you longevity in this industry. So my personal deal is, I think that I'm pretty just I'm naturally polite person, but I would say that if you notice that maybe like there are certain facial expressions you make, or you might not necessarily be the most polite person, then you might want to have a conversation with yourself and figure out exactly what you need to do in order to be more pleasant, because you have to be a very pleasant person to work with for people to want to work with you consistently.
On your way to the job that day, just hold a pen in your mouth
and be like,
and practice that smile.
They'd be like,
practice that smile. It'll force you to smile.
Right?
Do it.
Yeah, like when you walk in, because when I'm working with people, when I'm working with clients, I am one of the first people that they see.
Yes.
So that means that like they come in, they might be having a problem, they might be having like a bad morning. It's my job to just sit and be like, okay, and read the room. I think a lot of people have like situations where they don't realize that like you walk in and like, let's say Nelly comes in and like I know her to be a normally talkative person. Like I have a lot of personal clients. And this day she comes in and she's not as talkative. She's not really saying anything. So my job is not to get her to talk. My job is to read what's happening here, right? Respect her space. Respect how she feels, and be like, cool. We're gonna rock with this vibe. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna be like sad or if I notice that she's a little sad, I can still maybe crack a little joke or whatever, if that's like my personality. But but it seems like she might be trying to have more of a chill morning, and if that's the case, then I gotta like rock with that. So, a lot of times you'll find that like you have a skill set, and a lot of people say, how does that makeup artist do that? How does that makeup artist get that client? How does that hairstylist work with that person? I just don't get it. They're not even that good, right? Right? Sometimes people might say that. Why is it? Yeah, right. But why is that? It's because that person actually enjoys having that person around.
Yep.
It just comes to that. I'm going to be honest with you. Because as a makeup artist, I'm here, in your face, like always touching you, always in your space, always doing things. You have to feel comfortable with this energy. If you don't feel comfortable with it, it's not going to last. You're not going to book the person again, and you're not going to have them in your space. So it's the same with the production companies, right? When you come in, are you speaking to the director? Are you speaking to the director of photography? Are you speaking to the talent? Are you making sure that you introduce yourself? Are you making people feel comfortable? All of those things are those little things. It's not just about the skill. It's not just about the makeup. It's not just about
emotional intelligence.
It's emotional intelligence.
It's so important in every career too. But this is especially important because you're working with individual people.
Yeah,
but it's also important not to overdo it. I could just imagine you coming in like handing out business cards, trying to, and it's like, why? You're just here.
What's happening?
It's like just
what's going on
here.
Yeah, it's like everybody just relax. It's okay. Right? Thank you very much for the compliment on here. I appreciate it. Leah did it. I don't know if she's still in here. Thank you. Leah did it today, so thank you. I appreciate that. This is that one thing that I'm spending money on that I need to spend money on. Okay, so
it's got to match the face. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Yeah. So clients. Okay. Now, in addition to actually being like a kind person when you come on set, you might be like, how do I reach out to people? Okay. You should make a list of people that you want to work with first, and a list of production companies or whatever your things. I'm so glad everybody's really enjoying it. Emotional intelligence, yes. I'm so happy. So, to make a list of people that you want to work with. So I was talking to, let's take it back to this writer really quick because she's just still on my mind. So she was interested in writing, and she said, okay, well, who should I contact? And one of the things I said is like, okay, if you're interested in getting into film and you're really interested in figuring out what you want to do on a film set, there is this thing you can do called a production assistant. And what production assistants do is they come in and they basically you get to work with everybody. Like, I think personally, if you don't know what you want to do in film, coming in as a production assistant, you either work with, they might put you with talent that day, they might put you with, They might put you with the producer that day. They might have you just like run errands. They might have you like go like drive the car. Like all of these things are like opportunities for you to get in the space of the whole world, like for you to figure out kind of like what's going on. Do I want to be a producer? Do I want to be a director? You kind of see, yeah. And the cool thing about being a PA is you don't have to be union to be a PA. So being union in film is very, very common, and basically what that means is like it protects you so that just like any other union, it protects you so these people are certified to be there. So if you're wanting to get into film and you don't necessarily know exactly what you want to do, the only other way that you would get onto a union film is actually being in the union. And that's going to take hours and time and energy and all this stuff. So you can go to like they had PAs that weren't union certified on, what's the last movie that came out? That you know, that you watched.
Black Panther.
So they had PAs. It's not about budget. So Black Panther movie, right? They had PAs there. Production assistants, and people are like walking around doing their thing, and like you like, I mean, obviously like it's a little bit more directed like that. You're not just like walking around like, hey director, nice to meet you. Yeah, it's not like that, but you get the opportunity to meet, like, you know what I mean, kind of like see the whole flow of things.
It's
the
like
other thing is
an intern.
Yeah.
It's just like you're not going to just go and meet the CEO of this company. If you're interning, you got to work, you know.
You got to work.
Everybody on the floor. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a similar idea. You have to come in that way. It makes sense.
Exactly.
But it's a smart move because that way people know you. You're bringing people coffee. You're doing this. You're
right,
that.
Right,
people know that person.
This is not,
people
and also just as a heads up, as a PA, you're not going to be like handing out your business card, right? Like that's not what I'm saying. It's like,
wrong.
Yeah, I know you're wrong. Like you're there to like observe. I love how Katie was like, and fired. Like, yeah, and it's a wrap.
Doing too much.
Yeah. So no, you will still be invited, like to kind of. It's really your option. You're basically like you're an observer. You're working, but you're also an observer, and I feel like it's a great time to like. Especially if you're driving a car, to like strike up a conversation with the other person next to you. Are you like a lighting person? Oh, cool. Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe I might want to be a gaffer. Maybe I might want to be a director. You know, like you never know who's going to be in your car, so it's kind of interesting. But anyways, that's I think a really great way to do it. And the other thing is, you actually have to reach out, people. Like, some people wonder, like, why people are busy. It's, like, because you have to have conversations with the people you want to work with. Yep. So if you're interested in working with, let's say I wanted to work with, like, Ava DuVernay. Like, I wanted to do films. Film's not my focus right now, so I don't know why I'm really talking so much about it. I've done some TV things, so I understand it. But film's not really where I want to be. But let's say I wanted to work with Ava DuVernay, which she's amazing. But, I wanted to do some next film that she was doing. So if I found out that Ava was maybe working on, and I don't have as much film experience, if I found out that Ava was working on an indie project that she was like maybe didn't have a lot of budget on, I'd be like, this is my opportunity to slide in real quick and be like, hey girl, what's good? Right. You know what I mean? Or if like assist, right? So I have had the opportunity to assist some amazing makeup artists, and a lot of those conversations have been with them have been, hey, what's up? How are you? I love this stuff that you're doing. Like this work looks really beautiful. I love this. I love that. And then reaching out to them and saying, like, I would love to assist you whenever you're available. And maybe they might be like, hey, I don't have the budget for it. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll be like, that's okay. I would love to come on any personal projects that you have. Like, what's good? Yeah, because it's all about building relationships with people. Because what happens is, like, right now I have an assistant that I absolutely love, and she comes with me everywhere. And I've already told her, I'm like, listen, like, I'm training you so that when I'm not available for something, I'm going to send you out on things. Because I already know. I already like her demeanor. I already like who she is. Right. You see what I mean? So, like, that's my goal for her. Right? And I'm sure she has obviously a goal of having her own personal clients as well. But yeah, so I think that's helpful. Do you think there's anything else?
No, that's huge. Honestly, and the best thing about that is that it's applicable in any field. Like, I'm already in my mind, like, my wheels are turning about how I'm going to take that and apply it. Because it's so true. I don't even realize, like, I've done little bits of that, but I never realized that's what I was doing, and it did yield success. Like, the opportunity that I'm about to go into in a few months came to me because I reached out. Like, the initial meet was me saying, wow, like, this website's really cool. These curriculum resources are really cool. Like, you know, is there if there's an event, like, there's an event in New York, and then I reached out. And then after that, they were like, oh, we love your channel. Like, we should connect. Like, we have a podcast. Would you like to be on it? And then, so it just kind of happened that way. But if I had never sent that initial email, we never would have did the podcast, and we never would have connected.
And another thing about emails, you might have to send a lot of emails
To
the same person though. Like this is what happens. People send an email, they're like nobody responded, so I was just like whatever, it's fine, it's all good, and I'm like, bro, how many times have you opened up an email on your phone when you've been on the train and been like, that sounds cool, and then literally exit out of it and forgot?
Right.
Like, I recently thought, like, I was talking to some client this morning who was showing me a product from the Lip Bar, and I realized that the Lip Bar had reached out to me, like, 3 months ago. Ooh. And, no, I know. And, like, I had an email conversation with them and everything, and they were like, hey, like, we'd love to, like, send you some stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I was like, and they're like, just choose whatever you want. And I was like, great. And then I was like,
did I ever choose?
I never chose anything. Like, I never even, like, followed. And it's not because I didn't like them. It's because I just, like, completely forgot. Yep. It wasn't a priority at the time. But now I'm like, oh, that color was bomb. Let's talk. Yeah. So, you see what I mean? Like, sometimes you open up email. So, you might have to send 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7, right? Different types of communication. I'm not saying back to back to back. But let's say a week maybe passes by. Maybe 2 weeks passes by. Maybe 3 weeks passes by. Right. What's going to separate you from the next person is your ability to keep going.
Perseverance. All of that.
Yeah. Yep. And the last thing I'm going to mention about being an entrepreneur is to have faith. It is very, very, very challenging to be a person who is working for yourself. Let me tell you, it will test you, it will turn you all the way inside out, you know, and it is tough, but it is rewarding. And one of the things I've made as a promise to myself is that I would only work with people that I liked. I don't care how poppin' you are, how amazing you are, how much everybody likes you, how much people are just like, oh my God, I have to be with this person, da, 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 da. I don't care. Right. If I walk into the room and I don't feel the love and the respect that I need, then why am I working for myself and doing this? Why am I challenging? Why am I hurting myself? Do you see what I mean? Like, that's not even a question. Right. And if you're in your own personal job and you're feeling the same way and you're like, yo, like, I don't feel satisfied right now. I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel loved.
I get no joy.
I don't get joy from this. Then it's time to move.
Right. To plan. Make your plans. So you can make your move.
Make your plan.
You don't want to make a move without a plan.
Yeah. Don't just jump.
Don't do without a plan. What I was about to do.
Yeah. So, yeah. You want to be happy with what you're doing. You want to be happy with the people that you're working with. So that is very, very, very important, no matter if it's a job or you starting your own thing. Mm-hmm. So if you have any questions, please leave them in there right now. We are going to answer them. I think everybody's just been asking as we've been going. We've been very happy. This has been beautiful.
This has been amazing.
Yeah.
I learned so much from you.
You did? I learned a lot too. I took notes.
Now I know what I got to do. I'm like, all right, I need to go home and do this. I email some emails I need to send again.
Yes.
I need to get on my time management. I need to sit on my Google Calendar and send some reminders to myself.
Yes.
If this person didn't respond by this day, send a second email.
Tuesday,
get on your Google Calendar.
Tuesday.
Get on your time, task management, all that. Because I'm literally like, I'm just sparks flying. Like, I got to get on that. Because I definitely know a few situations came into my mind as you were talking. I was like, dang, I got to.
You're like, oh, I got to respond to her.
Get on that. Yes.
How do you manage yourself when you're an entrepreneur? Do you use mentors for that or create a board to check in on quarterly goals or something along those lines? Okay, so managing myself. Okay, that's a great question. So I started creating a list every day of what I need to do. And so I created a finite list because the long lists didn't really work for me. Like just creating like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. And then you're like cross out and you just never feel done. So I, like, you know what I'm talking about?
There's some that just never get crossed out.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. And then you like find the piece of paper like later on and you're like, wait.
Oh, I never did that.
Oh, I forgot about the thing. Yeah. that other thing. So I create a finite list of about 5 tasks that I'm going to complete per day. Sometimes I don't have time to create that list. And the reason why is because maybe I'll have a 12-hour day. A 14, 15-hour day. Sometimes that happens as a makeup artist. I'll be with one client, then I'll be with another client, then I'll be with another client, and I just don't have the time. So I know that there's not necessarily that list. But whenever I have those days where I'm at home or working from home, I always make sure I start at the top of the day. 5 things. Cool. What am I going to do? Boom. Done. So I kind of like...
Discipline. So I kind of... people don't have it. And so being an entrepreneur means you got to have a lot of discipline. It's just like with your budget. You got to be disciplined.
Yes. And do you use mentors for that or create a board to check in? Yes, I do. So I do have a mentor. I do have a business coach. One of the things I did right before I actually quit my job is I had a conversation with a business coach. And I needed to talk to her about like, hey, listen, this is what I'm planning on doing. I really want to quit in 6 months. And she was like, cool. And she basically said, like, these are the tools that you need. So I found somebody who was an expert in the field that I'm in, right? So that way I, like, aligned with them. I knew exactly what I needed to know. And the person that I chose as a business coach was actually an agent for makeup artists and hairstylists.
Nice.
So she was completely talented in, like, making sure, like, people knew how to make money. So that was very, very important to me.
Nice.
We do check in. Monthly, it's mostly on a, like, if I have a question that comes up, then at this point, we're kind of checking in based off of, like, whatever question or something that arises. But we did have monthly check-ins that kind of went to quarterly check-ins and, like, and that type of thing. So, and I also have a plan for how much money I want to make during the year. So I put numbers up so I can see them every day.
Metrics,
intimidating,
data.
intimidating numbers so that I'm, like, super intimidated by how much money I want to make per month. And then I kind of break that down per day, per month, or per week, and then per day. So I kind of have an idea of what I want to make. Yeah, if I'm on track.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Like,
and I have an invoicing software too, which is really helpful.
What do you use? QuickBooks?
I use Zoho Invoice, which is really great. Which is really great. So what that does is it gives you a, I can look and I can see how much money I make per month. So, like, I know January and February were really great months for me this year already. I know that March was a little bit slower. April picked up a little bit. I already kind of have an idea of what's going on, and like, I know when I had record months. I know when I haven't. So, like, at this point right now in the year, thank God, I'm so blessed. I've made my salary from last year already at this point. So I already know that, which is a really important thing to know.
Yes.
So that way I know exactly, like, can I take a vacation? Can I not? I didn't take vacations for a really long time, to be honest with you. I took one in the past, like, 3 years that wasn't family related.
Yep. This is
so
my
you
first
might have to sacrifice.
Yeah,
I've done little sacrifice
weekends, but this is going to be like my first real vacation.
Yeah,
man.
So I hope that helped.
That was definitely helpful. I mean, it was helpful for me because like when you work a traditional 9 to 5, especially if you go from a 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship, you're used to certain things in certain ways. Like, your boss will give you quarterly goals. You'll have performance reviews. You'll sit down and see if you're on track. Like, so now when you're an entrepreneur, you ain't got none of that. So you got to really sit with yourself and be like, what are my goals? What are this? Am I on track? Am I looking at data? Am I, adjusting course based on what the data is telling me? Like, for sure. Now, obviously, your goals are going to be a lot more aggressive than last year because you're already where you were. So that kind of thing has to be happening. And too many people out there aren't data driven with your budget, with your work goals. Like, you have to be data driven. You have to be looking at the numbers. The math really matters. If you don't like math, you better start, like, I don't know what you can do to start liking math. But you gotta start counting your spoons. You gotta start liking math. Start counting your forks and spoons and your numbers are gonna go with you everywhere in life. So you gotta start to get comfortable with numbers.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you establish a mentor relationship? Did you ask, can you mentor me, or did the relationship just progress to that? Okay, so a mentor is a little different than a coach. I hired a business coach, so I'm paying them per hour. For their guidance. So it's a little bit different. So I feel like she's evolved into a mentor because now our relationship isn't necessarily like a pay for conversation situation. Yeah, it's not like that anymore because we got to a place where she felt like she didn't really need to, like, coach me anymore. It's more of like a conversational thing. Yeah. So when you're looking for a coach, you want to look for somebody who's going to be able to add value to you. For me, I knew I needed to learn how to make money. And she is an expert in making money and showing artists how to make money. So I was like, this is the person for me. That's how I knew. If you're looking for a mentor, I think it's great to have it progress into a mentorship. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I do think so, too. Because you won't notice that person's your mentor until you're like, oh, this person's
because you don't know if you want that person to mentor you yet. Exactly. I'm going to be honest. You're going to meet them. You're going to be like, you know what, you're dope, but I'm not sure yet.
Mentors are not people that you don't know. Like, you're not going to pick a stranger to be your mentor. Mentors are people actively in your life already in some capacity that you just realize are so much stronger than you maybe could have anticipated.
Yeah, or maybe they're a reach person. They could be a reach person too, but I would just, let's say you have a reach person that you want to talk to, like, I would love to have Tony Robbins be my mentor. That's actually a real statement. I would love to have Tony Robbins be my mentor. So, like, if I were to have a conversation with Tony, I wouldn't say, hey, Tony, could you be my mentor? Yeah, he'd be like, dude, you know how many times people ask me for that? You know what I mean? And I'd be like, okay.
Well, no, but I'm different.
Don't push me to the left. Yeah, but I'm different. So I would say instead, I would be like, can I have 10 minutes of your time? I would love to talk to you about blah, 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 blah. And I would say specifically what I wanted from him, so that way he knew exactly what I needed, and I was very specific about that. Do you know what I mean? So, because a lot of people, it's funny, actually, sometimes people send me messages and they'll be like, hey girl, can I meet up with you? And I'll be like, sure, yeah, that's totally fine. And like, I'm like, okay, and then I'm like waiting for the part that they get to what they want to talk about.
What are we meeting about?
But what? What do you want to talk about though? Like, you gotta tell me what you want to talk about so I can decide if I want to meet up with you or not. Yeah. Because now I'm just like, I don't know anything about you. You feel like you know me because I'm sharing my life on the internet.
Right.
but you don't know me and I don't know you, so you have to tell me more so that way I can decide too.
It's so important because it's about valuing your time and also valuing other people's time. Like even at work, recently. The job that I just left, I love the job, but we had a lot of meetings, and so sometimes the meetings wouldn't necessarily be relevant.
Meetings are just so irrelevant.
So what I started doing, and I think I maybe got this from Tim first. No, maybe not, but basically one of the online mentors and people that I watch, influencers, said like, now what I do is if you send me an invitation for a meeting, I won't accept it if there's no agenda.
Ooh, I like that.
Because I'm like, I don't know why I'm accepting this meeting.
Why am I going? My best friend, one of my best friends, Michelle, who was in here earlier, literally was like, she literally used to walk out of meetings.
Like, I want to be that bad.
When I tell you, we would be in meetings and she would literally just be like, she would literally be there for 5 minutes and nothing would happen. And she'd be like,
she pulled the LeBron.
And she literally and she'd just be out. And I'd be like,
right.
I didn't know we could do that.
Listen,
but let me tell you, she would just be like, I have stuff to do, and this is not reclaiming my time. Yes. So that's really important. So I think we're going to leave you with that. I feel like this has been such an awesome conversation, but I obviously don't want to be here like,
all
like,
night.
I mean, you got things to do. We got things to do. Love you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. You are amazing. This was amazing.
This was so fun. I had such a good time. Thank you so much. And make sure that you follow Yaneli at MissBeHelpful. She's that on Instagram, and she is that on YouTube as well. Yeah, so you can find her everywhere, MissBeHelpful. And, maybe she might post some pictures of her Barcelona trip.
Yes. Oh, my God. People have all been asking me, like, oh, girl, vlog on the trip, vlog. I'm like, well, I haven't done vlogs before.
I haven't done a vlog.
If you're uncomfortable, take the leap. Y'all might see some vlogs from me real soon.
Oh, everybody's saying thank you. I'm so happy that y'all were here.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.